Aloha, friends and neighbors. Rollin Frost here, Kona astrologer. I got some interesting things to share with you this week. We're going to do program 1137 and cover the third week in September 2018. I'm back here on August 30th, and before I really get moving on the show, I want to share something with you about one of my other favorite projects. Most of you all know how hard I've worked on Nene and Alala to change the idea of who they are. Anyway, let me show you. I worried about, the ravens, which are very close to the volcano. And on August 30th, which is today I'm doing the show, I got my copy of the newsletter and I'm going to show it to you. Here it is. Got something to write with? Write down the address so you can get this newsletter in your email. The address is simple: thealalaproject@gmail.com. And you go to that website and you get the newsletter. And what you got here is the August 30th newsletter. And the news was really good. I wanted to pass it on to you. And here's their website, alalaproject.org. Check it out. There, I'll just let you read this. Read it for yourself. Yeah, I think you can read this too. And the good news is, as soon as it was safe, they sent in their experts and staff from the San Diego Zoo and the conservation monitoring team and department DLNR staff, and as soon as the roads were safe they went in there to check it out, including Dr. Allison Greger. They got a lot of names on there, huh? He said, or she said, I know Allison, yeah. The Hawaiian forest is very resilient, and in that way the alala is also very resilient. He said, our team got out here as soon as it was safe, saw no ill effects on the birds. They weathered the storm very well. So, hooray! Hooray, hooray! There's some more from their website, or from the newsletter. Pretty stuff. "29 years old." All right. What you don't know is they put the cages the birds were used to out in the forest, and feeding stations, and they just moved their hotel rooms out to the forest. So it's natural that they would do okay. It's awful good news. I was really worried about them. Of course, this guy here, we're not worried about him anymore. No. The Nene just went to the golf course, and Fish and Wildlife announced that they were taking him off the endangered list. And so we consider the goose found the golf course all by themselves and are no longer endangered. Yes. Hurricane Lane showed up on astrocartography as Neptune, like a heavy rainstorm or lots of fog. And what I see coming up for you, starting the end of October and going through most of November, is a real hurricane. And that has high wind, and that wrecks a lot of stuff. It's a lot different than a lot of rain and some flooding. It's a real hurricane. Hey, let's go over your next week. Let's go over the sky mirror and see what's coming up for you. What's it going to be like? Well, notable is Venus is squaring Mars and opposing Uranus. So this is a weird, stressful, romantic month. It's Romeo and Juliet are in each other's way, and it happens kind of suddenly. What's the rest of it like? Let's see. The sun is going through the last of Virgo. So we're all a little critical, huh? And at the end of your next week, it moves into the square to Saturn. It gets a little depressive. So, don't expect a lot out of romance, but there'll be some zap in it. Ha ha ha. Do I have some news here? Oh, I had a client call me. I've been doing this chart for 20 years, updates. He said, you know, I'm listening to you and I know you're going to bow out sometime soon, he says, and not be able to do charts for people or choose not to. Anyway, he said, before you do that, I'd like you to do a life reading for me. Yeah, talking about going over his whole life, and I can do that with lunations and progressions, and I would look forward to that. And I could do a whole life reading and hit all the high points, you know, for the price of a Cadillac. So he was pretty happy with that. And I realized I got to offer that to you guys. So I have 3 kinds of chart work I offer. A life reading, which hits all the high points for the next 50 years or so. Then a standard update is like goes through 2 years and goes into more detail. And then there's the Jupiter chart, where I just go into where the expansions are, where all the happy, you know, aha, and we forget all the other bad stuff or the slow stuff. Jupiter charts generally I'll do 5-6 years. Okay, so life readings, think about it while I'm still here, okay? I can see I'm looking for another income stream already. Well, what do we got here? We got Neptune trining Jupiter, sextiling Pluto. So there's still some higher knowledge going on, some discovery, and some spiritual progress being made. It's not on the social sexy level though. Mars and Venus, they're fighting. Not too hot. Let's look at it day by day. We're going to run the moon around the edge of this planetary pattern, and as it contacts these actors, that's who they are, actors on the stage, it produces the vibes of the time. For instance, let's see, here's about Thursday. So Wednesday, after breakfast, or in the morning for you, that would be the 12th. The moon went by Venus, and you'd see it after sunset. The sun would go down, you'd see a beautiful moon right there with that bright star, but you'll feel sexy. So, think back. That's the way this thing works. It's really nature, and we're predicting what your body goes through. So, if you're watching on the Thursday show, on the 13th, it's a pretty good day. Starts with good Neptune stuff, inspiration. In the middle of the day, in the afternoon, it's discovery. And then in the evening is, aha, now I see it clear. I can do something about this. There's a sextile to the sun. So this is a very important time. Yes, this Thursday, you could have some epiphanies and make some plans that would be kind of astounding. The moon's in Scorpio. So these things can last. There's a fixed sign, Scorpio. It's good for creating things that don't give up. On Friday, the 14th, first half of the day is in Scorpio, and you're still feeling that, boy, we found amazing things in the last 24 hours. In the middle of the day, the moon shifts into Sagittarius, a mutable fire sign. And it starts to get more movable, a little more dicey, a little more confusing, which leads you into Saturday night, when the moon in Sag squares Neptune. And everybody drinks too much, and there's confusion and delusion, and problems with Mercury. Yes, talk and walk. See, Mercury, I didn't notice that at first. When you're starting your week, Mercury's at 16 Virgo. And Neptune's at 15 Pisces, so Mercury's opposing Neptune You know, it's difficult to talk. And you might say right and mean left. And there could be deceptions going on. And confusions over numbers and names. And mostly you're going to see that on Saturday night. So don't get lost. The less alcohol you use, worst thing is you drink too much and lose the keys to your car. Uh-oh. Saturday night the 15th. Sunday the 16th, the moon's still in Sagittarius. The middle of the day, the moon squares the sun. So you're not going to get much done. You might as well rest up. It's the day of the Father, isn't it? Sunday is for the sun. That's your Father in the sky. So take the day off. Think about what you'll learn Thursday, Friday. On Monday, the moon is shifted into Capricorn. It gets more serious. Here's Saturn, the ruler of Capricorn. Here's the old goat. Here's the businessman, the politician, the cross of matter over the crescent of people. This guy is serious. He likes to downsize things, but he's very practical. He builds houses out of stone, not out of twigs or hay. And this is in Capricorn. So there's two sides to this. One is there's a trine to Uranus here, that blue line. And technical things, innovations, new stuff might be surprisingly easy. And you could really get organized on it. Venus is there also, sweetening the pot. So you'd be inspired to solidify something Monday morning. Make some plans, study some business trips. Get the technical stuff. Get on the internet. Get on, you can get 800 numbers and it's free. And here's Monday morning. Here's a nice sextile to Venus. It's a little bit late between breakfast and lunch, but you could stay in bed for quite a while. Moon in Capricorn. It's very capricious. Little goats are very horny little creatures. Here's Tuesday, the 18th, moon still in Capricorn. We got enlightenment. Yeah, here's a sextile to Neptune. You get up right away, there's music. And then there's discovery as the moon goes by Pluto, just about lunchtime. And now I see it clear, comes up again. So this is like Thursday the 13th. Here's Tuesday the 18th, a day of discovery. Pluto discovers things. You'll be proud of what you did Wednesday. Oop, wasn't looking at the screen, I'm sorry. Where am I? I got lost, there I am. So Tuesday, moon goes by Pluto, day of discovery. Wednesday starts really well. You got good plans, but the moon's going to go by Mars. It's too hot, and it squares Uranus, and blows the circuits on your air conditioner. Or here's power outages. Here's high winds. This is, if it were not for the square from Uranus, might not be too bad, but it is Mars, and the moon goes by Mars Wednesday afternoon, and it's going to be hot, and there could be fires and fights and overdoing of Mars. Remember now, Mars is squaring Venus, so here's where the young man gets out of hand. He's too pushy. There could be, Venus could be hurt. Keep your daughters home Wednesday, and be careful of hot things and sharp things. There's going to be some fires, and it's going to stop the peace and quiet of things. And it comes up suddenly with the square to Uranus. Wednesday. I hate this heat myself. Thursday, well, the moon's in Aquarius. You're still going to feel the heat. It starts to lessen a bit. And then here's Friday, on the 21st, the moon's still in Aquarius. So square to Jupiter, so you're not getting the rain that would cool things down. We're overdoing it a little bit. Saturday, the 22nd, the moon shifts into Pisces. It starts with a nice sextile to Uranus, and there'd be a sextile to Saturn. You can get organized. Technical stuff goes well. Yes. And there's rewards. Saturday night, be with somebody you love. Yeah, here's the moon trining Venus. Don't go for sports or physical stuff. Forget all that. Just this is pretty stuff. Saturday night, the 22nd. On Sunday, the moon's still in Pisces, and it goes by the ruler of Pisces, Neptune, in the morning. You know, if you're on a sensitive, religious, spiritual trip right now, or music, this is the time to do it. You want to draw, you want to do art, you want to express yourself, go to church, swim in the ocean, that's Neptune. Get up and have a drink and sit out in the backyard and write some poetry. Sunday's a good day for it. Neptune is Jesus, you know. Yeah. Anyway, that's the way it is on this week. Okay, now we're not talking a rainstorm here and some flooding. No, this hurricane. And this sign is wrong. It starts. There's a window, okay? I'll show you some technical stuff. Starts October 24th on a lunation, and it goes through to about November 29th. So this is about 5 weeks, and we get a lot of signals that there's going to be a hurricane here. Might even be 2. Now the peak of the hurricane season is in September. That's when Iniki hit. Yeah, September 12th, I think it was. And the reason it peaks out then in September is because that's when the high temperature. Here's a little lesson, okay? Sea surface temperatures. If you go to the GOES website, just send your search agent for GOES, and you'll get the website of the satellite, and it has world maps, and it shows you the sea. You can click on a little box, sea surface temperature, and along comes these contour lines. Well, the contour line that's most important is 28 degrees. 28 degrees centigrade. Yeah? If you get colder than that, if you go north of there, and it goes to 27, 26, and the ocean surface temperature gets cooler, hurricanes fizzle out. They get their power from the hot water on top. At 29, they power right up. 30 degrees centigrade, oh yeah, that's where they all get generated. You can see it on the GOES satellite. Check this out. Okay, I'm on August 30th, 2018. Here's Hawaii. You know, we're right here. Yeah. And look, here's a hurricane. Here's another hurricane. And during the seasons when we have a lot, they just roll along like bowling balls. They're about a week apart. And so now the question is, why are they rolling along this line right here? Well, that's the 28 degree line, see? And let me see if I can show you that one. Okay, you can read these. Here's the 28 degree line. See, so down here, south, 29:30. Hurricanes spin up at 29:30 over there, and then they travel along like a bowling ball trying to hit Hawaii. But see, here's 27, 26. They don't go up there because the water's too cold. They fizzle out if they go a little too far north. So I watch this. Here's the 28 degree line right here. I watch it kind of carefully because there's our islands. And, you know, when the 27, I mean last week, when Hurricane Lane came along, the 28 degree line was right up there. And yeah, now it's moved off the islands a little bit. It tends to move down this way as we go along. Now, why is that important? Because September is the peak of the hurricane season, because we get this hot water, 28, 29 degrees, moving up into Hawaii and giving us hurricane action. But what I'm confronted with this time is hurricane dates from astrocartography and my knowledge of them that points towards this period from the last week in October through November. Well, by then the 28-degree line is way down, is down here, see? So what's going on? Well, what I think is happening, sometimes they don't roll along that line. They actually, like Aniki came up here and came up from the south and went cloom, just clipped right over Kauai. So I think what we got here is the hurricanes that are generated down in the hot water, and they take a spin up here from the south and come up to hit our islands. And so it reminds you a lot of Aniki. And you know, the other thing about reminders of Aniki is that the Saturn cycle in the sky runs around about 28 years, and 27 and a half. And that's how long ago it was we had Aniki. So in the chart of Kauai and places like that, Saturn's back in the same area that it was when Aniki happened, kind of redoing the karma a little bit, maybe. Okay, first, here's a general idea in my ephemeris of the way some of this stuff looks. Here's a month of November, and I started marking out places where you could have a hurricane. A lot of stuff came up in mid-November, and then a bunch of stuff here the 1st of December. All these little circled points and colors, and so I got a lot of places inside of about 5 weeks here after October 24th, which is the big lunation that really shouts hurricane, you know, and that starts back here. So October 24th, you could have one hurricane, and then you could have another one here in the middle of November. That could easily happen because I got so many data points, it's hard to believe it's just one hurricane. Yeah, so in a way, maybe it doesn't matter too much. I'll do more work on it for you, but it's complicated, and next show I'll do some more work. And here's one of my worksheets. And you know, here I put transits, lunations, things that have to do with hurricanes and dates, and a bunch of them in the middle of November. So it's complicated. I think I want to give you some practical advice. We're going to have a hurricane during this time period, maybe two. And we're not talking a little flooding here from Neptune. Remember, FEMA said that you run from water and you hide from wind. And when I didn't see infrastructure damage due to Hurricane Lane, I kind of decided it wasn't a serious hurricane. And it wasn't. It was a flooding thing. I have 3-4 charts with Neptune. So when you have a wind event, it knocks down trees, knocks down power poles. I went through Aniki. We didn't have power for 3 months. I mean, no electricity. When it finally went back on, I wasn't used to it. Light bulbs are blinking at me. I didn't like electric light bulbs much. Anyway, first piece of advice for you, if this is an Aniki kind of event, and it will be something like that, we found out right away that the wind from the hurricane carries salt with it, and it carries it in through the cracks and into your home. Large trash bags. We found out at Aniki, you know, the hurricane goes by, and you got your computer and your TV and all of your electrics and electronic stuff. Seems to operate okay for a while, and the insurance guy comes by and says, well, what do we have to pay you for? Well, the trip is that it slowly corrodes. A month or 2 or 3 after the hurricane, your TV goes out, your computer goes out, your disk drive, all your electronics slowly corrode. So what do? You buy these large trash bags so it'll fit over your TV screen, and bag your computer, bag anything that has electric contacts and things in it that you think is of value. Bag it. Let the wind blow. but it won't be blowing salt into your valuable electronics. Because the insurance guy comes by and you say, oh, it's working fine. And then 3 months later it conks out. You're not going to get paid for that. So here's your first line of defense: large trash bags. There's going to be physical damage. Your tree falls on your car. Insurance company doesn't cover it. I got some points here where I make notes that this is the result of the hurricane. Yes, 11/29, December 1st. And here's things like fixing houses, clear December, middle of December. Charts that show people are repairing their houses. So I'm looking at infrastructure damage after the hurricane. And okay, here's more hints. Your power's going to go out because, I mean, I don't know. You count the number of poles between you and the generating station. And I'll tell you how long it's going to take before they bring power to your house. Pluto stations and goes direct on October 1st. And you'll get an idea of emergency prep. October 1st, yes. Prepping large garbage bags. This is not a drill. There will be a hurricane. Will knock trees down and knock all the wires off. So whether you go with batteries or kerosene lanterns, you got to be prepared to light your evenings. For, you know, how many poles are you away from there? Another thing we learned is shut off your refrigerator while the hurricane's going so you don't suck air in with salt on it and ruin the refrigerator. Just a few hints. Make your life more bearable in an emergency. That's what it's all about. There will be water damage. I got one note here. Mercury goes retrograde at 13 Sag on November 17th, which squares Neptune, and it could rain and rain and rain and rain. So there's going to be some water problems, but the main thing is your wind, huh? That's what it's about. Hide from wind, run from water. Hey, watch your pets. They can feel these things coming. Hey, send me a letter at email, rollinfrost@yahoo.com.